Hey, we're here to do another recap and another review on FX Pose. Episode 3, Receiving and Giving. Receiving and Giving. We open up with the scene where we see the house of evangelist basically getting ready for Christmas. And we see that mother, Bianca, has told each one of her children to basically write down what they would like to receive. At this time, we also see that one of Bianca's kids is not really so enthusiastic when it comes to Christmas, and that particular kid is Angel. And so Bianca goes on and she asks Angel, you know, what's going on, and why are you not so hyped about Christmas? And so we go on and we find out that when Angel was a very young child, at the time before she transitioned into being a trans woman, she went shopping with her father, and she saw a pair of 4-inch red patent leather pumps. And so she basically she saw it, she thought it was beautiful, and so she decided that she didn't take the whole pair, she just took one of the shoe. So basically Angel goes on and tells the story as her father basically found out that basically she had stolen, and of course she got chastised for stealing. Her father slapped him for basically one, stealing, and then two, stealing a woman's shoe. And she goes on and tell everybody that ever since then, basically her father never looked at her as the same. So we go on and we find out the reason why Angel was not really in the mood. Here we see that Stan and Matt has ran into some complications. Stan was basically in a meeting with a couple of the high uppers, and Matt basically was in the office doing some nasty talking very perverted to a couple of the women that was basically there. And so Stan had no idea that Matt was basically in with the other high executive. So it's basically Stan sees that Matt sees that Stan is coming out, and it looks like that they had a very good meeting. And so of course Matt got very upset due to the fact that Stan had a very successful meeting. And so Matt goes to tell Stan to not forget that he is, higher than he is. And so basically Matt goes kind of sort of off with him. Then we also go on and we see that Alexis house of abundance. The theory about Alexis and a house of abundance, and there is a difference between the two houses. With Alexis, house of abundance, it seems that they do a lot of boosting, they do a lot of stealing, and Alexis is basically there. But when it comes to the house of evangelist, Bianca instills in her children that she doesn't want them to basically steal. She wants them to basically work for the things that she wants. Unlike Alexis and the house of abundance. And so we go on and we see the house of abundance is basically they live in a much better I'm gonna say they live in a much better apartment, and but in the house of with the mother Bianca, they got a nice little tree. The tree's all set up, even though it's not elaborate, but they got a nice little tree. The tree's all set up and everything. And so the house of abundance wanted to ask Alexis, well, what are we going to do this year? This Christmas is not really that good this year. And so one of her children, I forgot which one it was, asked Alexis, well, why don't you ask, your boyfriend, one of your boyfriend who's basically keeping you to help, get with some of the stuff for Christmas. And so, of course, being the type of woman that Alexis is, she basically go off on the kids. And she basically tells the kids that she can't really get too much from him. Is because he basically writes down everything that he gives her. He keeps a track on how she's spending, and she has like a certain amount of money. And so apparently it seems that Alexis comes up with this brilliant idea. And what this brilliant idea is that in order to bring some money in order to help the House of Abundance have a very good Christmas, Alexis decided to go into the upper part of New York. I don't think it was somewhere in the upper part of Manhattan, and they steal a Salvation kettle stand. And so basically, the House of Abundance takes the kettle, they steal the kettle, they get distraction to the kettle, and then Alexis take some wire cutters and cut the Salvation's kettle off, and so they run off with the money. And so we basically go in, and before we find out that Alexis and the House of Abundance basically had collected $2,300. And so the children of abundance is thinking that this money is basically going to be spent in decorating, where they live at. But I beg to differ. Alexis has something else that she wanted to do with the money. Before the House of Abundance took the kettle from the upper part of New York City, we see that basically Alexis has been summoned to the clinic's office. And the one reason why she's been summoned to the clinic's office is because at one time Alexis was basically in a program that was back in 1990, back in those days, what is this, 1998? I believe it's 98, not quite sure, correct me if I'm wrong. They were doing reconstruction reassignment sex assignment. And now that they're not really doing it so much, so basically Alexis was in the office because a woman who had took over one of the doctors who had a lot to do with Alexis' appearance and surgery um, was letting Alexis know that that she was getting back into reassigning, gentles. You know, reassigning reconstruction for trans women to be full grown women. And so prior before that, Alexis let the doctor know that, she doesn't have the virus. She's very arrogant about it. And she's saying that I don't have the virus. But the doctor said, well, we don't know whether or not if you fully have, we don't know because really I'm not really into that. But we can basically do blood work to make sure that everything is okay. It's because I would like for you to be one of the candidates who will be to get the complete surgery to complete you for you being a complete woman. And so this is when Lexus asked the doctor exactly, how much would it cost and everything. And of course, right away, the doctor did not tell her exactly what that cost for the surgery is going to do. In the meantime, Alexis in the House of Abundance have basically has basically got the money, counting the money, finding out that it's $2,300. And so the House of Abundance is all excited because they're thinking that they're going to have a very nice Christmas. Well, Alexis had other ideas as to basically what she wanted and what was going to be done with this money. And of course, we know that Alexis is very selfish when it comes to certain ideas. So, Alexis takes the money, and the money that her and her children have stolen from the Salvation Army. Every Christmas, Salvation Armies, have their cattle and they collect money. So she takes the money that they basically stole, the kids basically stole, and go to the clinic and plops the $2,300 down on the counter and tells the nurse that's who's there that she is ready and this is $2,300 to get started. In the meantime, we see that the category Damien and Rick. Apparently, Rick and Damien has this category that Rick is going to walk in, and I believe it was the category of the fur, high class something fur. And so Damien tells Rick, well, if you want to be in the house of a evangelist, that you definitely have to walk. And so he walks and he won his category. They called him Butch something, but he basically won his category. And so by him winning this category, this meant that he might be able to get into the house of evangelists. And so we go on and we see that Stan has basically gone to do some Christmas shopping for the family, for his wife. And he's at the jewelry store in the department. And he's purchasing a bracelet for his wife. And he's also purchasing a necklace for basically Angel. And so we see that Stan is asking the salesperson exactly what type of jewelry should he buy to women who are totally different. And so, of course, Stan sends his daughter off to get distracted, so she couldn't see her father purchase purchase two gifts. In the meantime, we see that Matt Matt has decided that he wants to get back at Stan for being at a meeting that he had no part of. So he comes to Jersey. Now, you know that Stan basically lives in Jersey. And Stan and Mike works in New York in the Trump Towers. Right? And so we see that Matt is knocking on the door. And he has in his hands, he's bearing gifts. And so, of course, Stan's wife, name is Pat, is it Pat, lets him in. And basically, Matt sits down and have a conversation with Pat. And so, Matt tells Stan's wife that, Stan's doing really good, but we see that Pat is basically, only due to the fact that Stan has been occupied with other things, and we talk about Angel later. And this Matt is a scum of the earth. It's because basically he has basically made a move on Stan's wife. And so Matt tells Pat that he has not really been taking up a lot of Stan's time, because Pat basically tells Matt that you basically have my husband with you 90% of the time. And then that's when Matt tells Pat that he hasn't really been calling Matt in for extra work. And so now this is when I say that Stan's boss is a scum of the earth. And the reason why I said it's a scum of the earth. And the point is that Pat, she's also is going to be caught in the loop of things. And how she's going to be caught in the loop of things is that she allowed, and I'm going to say allowed, if you all are watching the show, and I recommend that you take the time out on Sunday and go check this show out. It comes on at 9 o'clock and it's polls. She allowed, when I say she allowed Matt to kiss her, because she made something, a little snippy remarks about his kissing. And so we go on and we see that basically Stan is coming back from shopping with his daughter, and he noticed that Matt is basically in the house. And he tells Matt, says, why are you what are you doing here? Why are you at my house? The next time you feel like that you want to come to my house, I would appreciate it that you basically let me know. And don't bring your ass back into my house without me knowing that you were coming. And so basically Matt gets up and tells Stan to don't mess up the relationship that he has with his wife, because he has a good wife. So basically we know that this scum of the earth is going to try to make a move on Stan's wife, because he knows that Stan is stepping out on his wife. And so we go on and we see that Percy and Mrs. Robinson and I like the coalition that basically they did it. I want this a contrast. The difference is that we see Mrs. Robinson, who is going to the hospital to see one of her students. And we see Percy basically is also going to the hospital. And both of them wind up in the elevator. And so we see them getting off of the elevator, and we see one goes this way and the other one goes, one goes to the right and the other one goes to the left. With Percy, we see that the gentleman that he went to see, they are suffering, he is suffering from HIV and AIDS. And we also see back at that time when AIDS has first basically came onto the scene, when it came to the health profession, they really didn't really know exactly how to treat the symptoms, exactly how to treat the disease. And so they treated the people, the men and the women, mostly there were men, who caught the disease like scum of the earth. I'm just going to put it to you like that way. The way they treated them, you saw Percy basically looking at his friend food tray and saw that the type of food tray that they were giving him, it was not a healthy food tray at all. And so we see that scene. Then we see the scene where Miss Robinson basically go and see one of her students, one of her students who was very, very good. He was basically standing up and he was, moving and moving to, as a dancer. And you could see that he was basically hallucinating. He was under the influence of medication. And you could see that the hospital really didn't really care about, patients at that time in that era. And so that scene is like so, it was so touching because Ron Murphy, he got it right. He basically really, really got it right. I mean, it was just to even think, to even think back. Because I've lost a couple of my friends. And at that time, before, they started giving cocktails, like all of these pills that people with HIV and AIDS had to take. It was just the way the healthcare profession treated them. It's just, it's, it's something. So we go on and we see that Rick and Damien has been neglecting his his dancing. They're basically getting ready for a real serious ball, and Damien is really not paying attention. He's getting to class late. So they're practicing for the ball, and Damien realized that he is running late. And he gets into the he gets to Mrs. Robinson's class, and of course she's basically upset due to the fact that she feels that he is not really being serious. She feels that he is good, but he's been distracted with these balls that he's basically been going to, which is basically making him late to get to class. And since he was late this time to getting into the class, Miss Robinson basically asked him to leave. So we get on and we see a scene where is that it's Christmas. And Damien and Rick. Damien goes into the room, but I'm assuming that everybody has their own um, room, in the house. And so we see that Rick and Damien finally come together as a partner. I mean, we know that they're together and we know that they like each other. So Damien has had his first sexual encounter with Rick. Now, I pay very close attention now, and I'm going to show you the difference between Angel and Stan. With Damien and Rick, Damien tells Rick that he's ready, and so basically they had sex. But here's the kicker. I'm hoping that you guys paid attention. They had unprotected sex. Unprotected sex. And so we see that Damien and Rick had their first encounter, their first relationship, and it was unprotected. Now, we go on and we see that, I'm moving around a little bit. We see that Stan and Angel. Stan has finally put Angel up in her own apartment. The apartment is very, very nice, fully equipped. The only thing that's not there is the TV and the cassette player. And the cassette player. And we also see that Stan and Angel basically have their first encounter. They consummated, and I think they consummated the relationship by, having sex in the apartment. Now, the difference between Stan and Angel, we saw that when they got ready, Stan reached in and pulled out condoms. So those two people protect themselves, Stan and Angel. But Rick and Damien did not. And so in my mind, that's going to, bring some issues for me. The reason why I say it's going to bring some issues for me is because Rick is a player. And he's been hanging out on the pier. And he's been sleeping on the benches. And he had no place, no home. Unlike Damien, where is that Bianca took him in and he had a place to go. And he never had his first relationship. Now, Rick is a little bit more experienced than Dan is. So, I believe we're going to see the correlation between the two of them next week. And so we go on. I'm going into Stan and Angel. And so basically it's Christmas and Angel has basically asked Stan to do one thing for her when it comes to Christmas. Is that at least try to come and spend maybe 30 or 15, 20 minutes. But 15 to 20 minutes. So we see Angel is basically in the apartment preparing herself for Stan and her. And she became domesticated. When I say domesticated, she's basically baking cookies, right? And then she's basically getting herself ready for Stan. But in the meantime, we see that Pat and Pat's mother had basically decided to come and to visit. And so it was Christmas Day, and they were basically opening presents and everything, but Pat did not open her present. The reason why is because she basically found out by way of Matt that Stan has basically been cheating on her. So she didn't really open up the present that Stan had got for her, and he told, because she got upset, and she told Stan how she learned that he was cheating, and Stan basically showed her the present that he opened the present basically up for her, and it was the bracelet and the necklace. So apparently, Stan had basically changed his mind in giving Angel the necklace, because when he opened up the box for Pat to have it, you saw the bracelet and the necklace there all at the same time. And so we also see that this is going to be a little long because this show is like really worth it, guys. Um, we see that basically Stan decided to give both of the presents, to Pat. Now we know that Angel was basically there preparing herself to meet Stan, hoping that he would basically come. But of course, Stan did not come because the wife told him that the best thing in Christmas is that he is with the family all day, and so Angel does not get a chance to have to be with Stan on Christmas. So of course, Angel was basically upset. The reason why I said she was basically upset because we saw that um, Angel is back at the house, and but prior before that, we see that um, being that Miss Robinson basically kicked Damien out of class due to the fact that he was late coming to class. She called his mother, Bianca, and basically told Bianca what was going on, and basically told her in so many steps that if Damien does not get himself together, he's basically going to be cut, and he's going to be cut from the dance classes. And so, and of course, Bianca goes back and tells Damien, says that you will not be able to go to the ball. It's because basically you are punished, and the only way that I can basically get you to understand that your dreams and your aspiration is important, I have to, cut you. You cannot go to the ball. And of course, he was very upset. And of course, Bianca told Damien that you're not going to be walking. And Damien, I guess he decided that he's a man, and he told Damien, well, he told Bianca, well, you can't stop me. I could basically go and you can't stop me. And Bianca said, nah, I can stop you, but I could throw your shit out of the window. That's what I can do. And your ass is gonna be winding back on that bench again. And so we get to see that the category at the ball, one of the category at the ball, I guess at the ball, the big one was face. And of course, Angel won it because she came out, she was slaying as usual. So I'm going to say the House of Evangelists is basically rolling because Angel has won 2 trophies, Rick has won one. So the House of Evangelists is on the move. They're basically on the rise. And so we get to see that they're at the house cooking a turkey, and Angel has basically came back to the house to spend the holiday and to spend the Christmas with the House of Evangelists. And they burnt the turkey, so they wind up throwing the turkey out of the window. So they basically wind up going to a restaurant, and there at the restaurant is where they got a chance to basically open up all of the presents. And Bianca got basically everybody basically a present, even Percy a present. And so the present that really meant a significant was the present that she basically got Angel. She got Angel a set of red pumps, 6 inches. And that was it. I'm gonna tell you guys, being a woman now, there are some women who are basically doing polls, but those of you who are looking at it, there are a lot of gay and a lot of men and a lot of gay men and some straight people are basically noticing that this show is attracting everybody from from all walks, all category of life, and this show is giving you a real inside look at the ball scene and the people that's involved in the ball scene. Now, one thing also you have to realize too that the ball scene was not just for gay and trans. The ball scene was basically for everybody. You have everybody, straight, gay, trans, all in one area doing the ball scene. And I'm just going to say this is a very, very good show. And from what I understand, they have gotten picked up for a second season. And this is only episode 3 that we're in. And so this is a little long, but this is all things Cheryl came with a review and a recap. Subscribe, and click. Until next Sunday. Take care. And I will see you Wednesday or Thursday for Queen Sugar.